I'm an entrepreneur. I start things. Since leaving Netflix nearly 10 years ago, I help other people start things. And what's fascinating is that the process of speaking about it forces you to figure out, how does this work? How do you find what the common elements of success are in starting something, in building something new? I think you need two things. First, and perhaps most importantly, you need a tolerance for risk. Risk-taking is fundamental to any innovation. And I don't mean scary, dangerous risk. I mean the type of risk that says, I'm going to try something that I don't know where it goes. But the second thing you need is you need an idea. Ideas are the basis of innovation. But I'm going to point out, it does not need to be a big idea. So I think talking about innovation is especially pertinent to corporate audiences. It's easy to understand, it's hard to do. And so what you have to do is break it down into simple concepts and just get people to try things, build something, sell something, test something. I've learned a lot of things, but there's one important thing. If you take away nothing else from today, I want you to take away this. Anyone can do it. Anywhere can do it. Any company can do it. So everyone loves a good startup story, and of course I tell the Netflix story in every speech I do. But I recognize there's different types of stories for different audiences. The presentation I do for young entrepreneurs is different than the one I do for college students, and it's very different than the one I do for corporate audiences. Everyone has to learn how to take risks, but they're very different challenges when you're running a multi-thousand person organization than the ones you face when there's just two of you in your dorm room. There's 100 things broken, there's 100 things on fire. The reality is you have time to get 2 or 3 of them right, and you got to pick the correct 2 or 3 things. So strangely enough, what I spend most of my time doing is working on a very narrow set of goals. One of the most important things I've learned from doing this is that there's some tremendous content in the audience, and I'm realizing that part of my job is setting that loose.
Oh, a lot of questions all of a sudden. Whoa. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mark. Can you give me advice on how to run a business that will endure while continuing to nourish myself?
I love the fact that you said to nourish yourself in the process, because I think that's a very essential piece to it. I'm going to layer that in as the second one. The first one clearly is do something. Do not be scared. Do not say, I'll do it tomorrow. If you have an idea, do something that you'll learn more in an hour of doing it than in a year of studying it.
Mark, we're honored to have you at Hypo University. We invite you to come back here again and again. You're doing good work, my friend. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. The thing is, you have to love what you're doing, because you're going to spend a lot of time in the trenches making these things happen. But if you really find yourself intrigued by, how can I make it go a little bit faster? How can I increase sales in my district a little bit? How can I make my warehouse a little bit more efficient? There's always room for those kind of innovations. And the last thing I'll say about persistence is that you don't need to move the world. Sure, if you try and start Facebook today, you'll never be able to do that. But all of us can take small steps in whatever they do. And that's as effective, in some ways more effective, than swinging for the stars. Perhaps one of the most gratifying things for me about doing these presentations is when I feel like I've reached someone in the audience and changed how they're going to go about doing their job, or perhaps their life. It is so satisfying when people come up to me afterwards and say, that thing you talked about, that thing with the website, I'm going to try that when I go to work on Monday. That's really what it's about. If I can take one person and convince them to be an entrepreneur, I've done my job.